Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the Crypto Ginger here. I just wanted to briefly take a moment and discuss with all of you guys some very important information here. I think that all the articles I found, I wanted to tie them together for you all and hopefully paint this broader picture as to what we could potentially see happening for the sake of cryptocurrencies, for example. There will be other investment vehicles that people will take an approach on and look for as a means to invest into. But I do think we're going to start seeing a major shift into the cryptocurrency market and even the blockchain technology ecosystem just as well. And it's going to happen quicker than we probably imagined. A lot of things have been happening under the surface, and I think that they're starting to slowly but surely expose themselves. I wanted to start this video off by stating first and foremost, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing that I'm going to provide you tonight is financial advice, but it is absolutely important that we pay attention to this news because it is painting a broader picture for us all. The first thing I wanted to go over was this. It's an article from CNBC talking about how the tech stocks plunged in October, suffering their worst month since the 2008 recession. Now, there's two things I want to point out because this is absolutely important. It's specifying here that the tech stocks plunged in 1 month in October, just 1 month. Think about how interesting that is that it took place in 1 month just prior to the closing end of 2018, where we have already heard that quite a bit of things are going to start taking place as far as these big investment vehicles for cryptocurrencies happening around November and December just as well. BACT being one of those in December 12th, 2018. So again, a lot of interesting ties here when it comes to this information, but keep in mind, the tech stocks plunged in 1 month. That's extremely important. This right here, they're stating that it suffered the worst month since 2008. So they're comparing it to what took place in 2008. If you're unfamiliar with that, I highly implore you look up the 2008 stock and housing crash that took place, which at some point in time required a bailout, which basically meant that the Federal Reserve was able to make money out of thin air to help save some of the stock market at that time. But unfortunately, what it did is it increased the inflation rate of the U.S. dollar. So really, the dollar is no longer as valued as $1. I mean, it's significantly less. And I think what we're seeing 10 years later down the road is a negative impact to the stock market again because of what took place in 2008. And again, the Federal Reserve creating more money to help save the stock. And this is just, this is not good. But I will say this. When you start seeing articles like this, where it says the stock market lost nearly $2 trillion in October, this should be an eye-opener. Now, there's some important information I want to go over here in this article. The thing is, this was actually written because of an interview done by S&P Dow Jones' Howard Silverblatt, where he explains that $1.9 trillion was lost in that 1 month, the October month. And this is, again, one of the worst months they've seen since that last financial crisis. He explains three primary reasons, I should say, as to why we saw that particular decline. Now, those are also reasons I've explained in previous videos. I would just suggest go back and checking those videos out. But the thing I found very strikingly important that I want to point out to you all is this. That $2 trillion, that $1.9 trillion that was lost, Silverblatt states this: while this is a significant pullback, some of it does appear to be reallocation and money sitting on the sidelines. That is important. He definitely specified that reallocation is taking place, and that could very well be that those additional or other investment vehicles are just simply other companies that are being invested in the stock side of things. It could be reallocating into precious metals such as gold and bonds. But it could simply just be a large portion sitting on the sidelines. Now, why would there be anywhere from $1 to possibly $2 trillion simply sitting on the sidelines? My guess is that it would be something because of this. This is summing it all up as best as I could possibly find. Institutions are coming for your crypto. And in this article here, it more or less goes over that with all of these new investment vehicles for cryptocurrencies, it is absolutely going to make it easy for institutional investors to onboard into the cryptocurrency ecosystem. And if you're someone who has weak hands, they will come to take your crypto. Hence the reason why we've been seeing what looks to be this major push for a bear trend in the cryptocurrency market. A little bit slowly but surely trying to recover, but again, we're seeing a major bull swing or bear swings taking place because I think that it's being impacted by people swaying the market because they want a cheaper price point. But institutions are absolutely coming for your crypto. And how are they going to get in here? Like I said, those investment vehicles such as Goldman Sachs. Well, check this article out. This is something that was posted yesterday talking about how Goldman Sachs is already signing up customers for Bitcoin trading. We had already heard that Goldman Sachs was either going to come into crypto, then they weren't going to come into crypto, and now look what they're doing. They are onboarding a, quote, small number of clients to actively trade the derivative, a non-deliverable forward, which is a cash-settled product that is comparable to a futures contract but does not trade on an exchange. So it sounds like they're just getting these institutional investors prepped for what it would be like to start trading futures on an exchange when it's absolutely ready to go. And think about back to December 12th. That's coming up very shortly. It says here, additionally, the bank continues to consider launching custody services for crypto assets. So think about this. They are prepping people for, what it's going to be like to deal with Bitcoin futures, possibly Ethereum futures if that comes out. Imagine the types of futures that will be available on an expansion level once this right here is fully implemented. And of course, think about the fact that institutional investors can just go right into a cryptocurrency if they want to. And what better currency to go into than the best coin that's currently out there right now, XRP. This could absolutely lead into a shift in the price point for XRP dramatically. But nonetheless, they will be using, these institutional investors will be using platforms or gateways such as Goldman Sachs. You know what else they're going to use? They're going to use companies such as Fidelity. We've heard this before. They have created their own digital asset platform, another way for not only retail investors to get on board, but for people with large amounts of money to also use them as a platform to get into cryptocurrencies just as well. If that's the case, we're going to start hearing a lot more mergers with some of the bigger names. This article right here really stood out to me from Bloomberg, talking about how Microsoft and NASDAQ are partnering on a blockchain service. There are already people that have been investing into Microsoft. They are probably going to follow in suit with what they're trying to do with the move into the blockchain ecosystem. So that means large money is possibly going to follow that just as well. Just simply another means for large capital to come into the cryptocurrency ecosystem. Something else I thought was very, very interesting here that we should look into is that while all of this is happening, and because we've dealt with a lot of the unknowing of what's going to happen with the SEC and the regulations towards cryptocurrencies in the United States, you're seeing articles like this where Bittrex launches Malta-based international trading platform minus U.S. customers. So again, at the beginning of this video, I said we're try to paint this broader picture here. What's going to happen? Well, it's already been announced from major companies in the United States, such as Ripple and Coinbase, where they've talked to the SEC stating, find out what's going to happen as a regulatory stance, or you could potentially see the United States losing this type of business to other countries such as Malta, and they will exclude U.S. customers. So keep that in mind if you're from the United States. What is this kind of picture being painted here? If money's being pulled out of stocks, possibly going into cryptocurrencies, but you're not allowed to access it, that is not good for people in the United States. So we got to do our own due diligence when it comes to this and making sure we're entering it the right way. Now, I did state that there's a large possibility this money is going to go into things like Bitcoin futures, but I think a large amount of this money is going to go into coins such as XRP. And the reason why, we've already talked about this in plenty of videos, is what Ripple is trying to do with cross-border payments and settlements on a major global scale. The XRP coin, obviously, in order for it to be able to do large sums of payments across border, it has to have a high value. Well, check this out. This is actually something that was emphasized. This is an article talking about how David Schwartz, he is a prominent figure of Ripple, the company. He even states here in a quote, he says, when Bitcoins sold for $1, you couldn't really use them to buy a house or sell a house. You can now. Bigger transactions require bigger value. the higher price of XRP, the larger payments Ripple can target. So inevitably, we need to see that there's got to be a higher price point for XRP. This company has been pushing for this kind of thing to take place, which means it's possibly an inevitable situation. We're going to see the price of XRP jump up because they are trying to make this use case out of XRP with their protocols they've created for all of these major banks across the world. I've already done videos simply talking about these major connections between Temenos and Deloitte and Ripple and, of course, Swift, the big banking that deals with most of the major banks across the world. There are a lot of connectors taking place here. And, of course, David Schwartz is emphasizing that in order for us to see these larger payments, the primary thing that Ripple's trying to target, we need to see a larger price point of XRP. That could slowly but surely happen. Again, like I said at the beginning of the video, almost upwards of $2 trillion is possibly sitting on the sidelines. What do you think they're waiting for? And I would imagine it's something like what XRP is able to do and what Ripple is trying to incorporate with the use case of XRP through things like XRapid. Again, a lot of information that I'm trying to tie up here. It's hard to do that and keep it in a short video. I also wanted to end on this right here. I found that there's still quite a bit of information here that just rings out to me as to what we could potentially be seeing in the very near future. And we already have people that have done price analysis on the future of XRP and the price point of that. And even with this negative bear trend that we're seeing, there are still those who have done the math, have looked at it from an open perspective like I'm trying to provide here, and still think that we could potentially see a $500 XRP. I've talked about that. A lot of people have naysayed and said that there's absolutely no way we can see a $500 XRP. Well, this right here is more or less talking about a couple people from crypto Twitter outright, speaking on behalf of what they know with the XRP coin and what is potentially going to be happening in the very near future. And this gentleman here, going by the Rippening, or at the _ Rippening, states that Bitcoin took 7 years to grow to $20,000 from 0.003 cents. XRP won't take nearly as long to hit $5 because, 1, XRP isn't stagnant. Ripple has done more to grow the XRP ecosystem in the past 12 months than Bitcoin has achieved since its inception. And 2, Backed and Fidelity, #XRP. I've already mentioned this in this video here. I've mentioned in plenty of videos about Backed, about Fidelity. We just went over that. Again, I'm trying to paint this broader picture for you all. There are going to be people that want to put their money, if they're part of that $2 trillion sitting on the sidelines, if they're part of that and they need to find a place to put their money, and a company like Ripple and what they've exploited when it comes to the use case of XRP, they could potentially be putting it into something like XRP the coin. And if they do that, that means the price point of XRP could potentially shoot up. And then that would resolve that issue that David Schwartz just mentioned. We could then start seeing a larger payment from that Ripple can target there, just simply because of that price point jumping up. So again, trying to connect some dots here, we are seeing a large sum of money just simply sitting on the sidelines waiting to do something. Now, the last thing I want to end here is a small little bit of a treat for those who like to take a little bit of time and hear some very interesting news, something that could potentially happen for the sake of XRP, the coin. Go follow this gentleman here. He goes by the moniker Sam I Am. His link to YouTube is To the Lifeboats. He talks quite a bit about XRP, what Ripple's been doing, what they're trying to do under the radar. And he also focuses a great deal of attention on decoding another individual out there going by the moniker Ripple Riddler. And the Ripple Riddler will post things on YouTube that are basically just visual videos. There's no speaking behind it. And there are messages for the most part, that this gentleman here, Sam I Am, decodes. And I would implore you to watch this video. I think it's about 25 minutes long. This video is explaining the very last video, I guess, that the Ripple Riddler will ever put out. And again, Sam I Am decodes what's happening in that video, kind of giving reference as to what he's been talking about for many videos in the past, and also as well what we could potentially look forward to in the very near future for XRP. It's just a very entertaining video for the sake of feeling pretty good about what's happening for XRP. So again, I implore you, go watch this. Go out there and do your own research just as well, please. I'm trying to provide you with what I found very interesting here, but most certainly go out and do your own research. Again, go out and to the Lifeboat, tell him I sent you. Go watch his videos. Great guy. There's a lot of guys out there that are just fantastic for the XRP community. I'm just trying to be an addition to that. So hopefully you like my videos, and I do appreciate you watching. Have a good day. And hey, if you enjoyed what you saw, please hit that like button. It definitely helps get this information out there to as many people as we possibly can. And also share this content out with everybody. And if you're new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button. This channel has been growing by leaps and bounds, and I could not have done it without you guys. If you really want to help this channel grow, please donate to my Patreon page. Even $1 a month would be amazing and would absolutely go right into my channel to make it more professional for you guys and allow me to create even more content. Thanks again for watching, guys, and have a wonderful day.